hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Thursday, February 25th, and as you can see by the board behind me, today we are going to be learning about note-taking strategies. We spent the last 2 days learning about the hero's journey, and now we're going to learn about some note-taking strategies. And you can see in the morning message, that is the only thing that we're going to worry about today, these new note-taking strategies. So the do now is very simple. It simply asks you to write down your homework in your agenda. Your homework is to complete page 42 and to upload a picture. So we're going to be just jumping right in today into this page. It won't take us long. But the exciting thing is that as we read Harry Potter, there are 18 chapters. And for some of those chapters, I will choose what kind of a note-taking strategy you have to do. But for the majority of them, you guys will be able to pick your own note-taking strategy. Some people might like to do a timeline. Some people might like to do bullets. Some people might like to do something else. Today, I'm going to be giving you all the different options for note-taking strategies that you guys can use and that you guys can choose in Unit 3. So, again, that's the most exciting thing is that I will be giving you a bunch of options and then you get to choose your own. So there's a sense of you guys having control. You guys have choices that you guys get to make as to what kinds of notes that you are going to do for each of these chapters. Because as we do get into the book, which we will do on Monday, each chapter we're going to be reading it out loud in class. But you guys are going to be required to do a set of notes for that chapter, which, again, we're going to do together in class. You guys are also going to be required to write a summary of that chapter, which we will do in class. You will have lots of support as we go through these things. And you will also do short written response quizzes, where you'll have to take a quiz of anywhere between 3 to 5 questions, but you'll have to be answering in written responses. There is no multiple choice in this unit. It is all written response. So when you guys are being required to do all of those things, I think that it's really helpful that you guys get to choose your own note-taking strategies. And you'll be able to develop that strategy, and you'll be able to decide what works for you and what doesn't work for you. So let's jump right into to today's work. All right, so scrolling down here through the table of contents, you can see Unit 3 right here. We only have 4 pages. We have our Unit 3 title page, which we did on Monday of this week. We have page 40, which is our hero's journey diagram. We have page 41, which was the hero's journey outline. And today, we're going to be putting in page 42, our note-taking strategies. And you can see here, this is a short write-up of what I was explaining to you. As a part of Unit 3, you will need to complete a set of notes for each chapter, along with a short written response quiz. For many of the chapters, you will have the opportunity to choose what style of notes you would like to do. Today, I'm going to teach you about a variety of note-taking strategies that you can choose from. And there is a picture of my finished note-taking page right here, but I'm going to go over here to my Ladybug, my document camera, and I'm going to work from here today. So today, ladies and gentlemen, you can see my notes are already all written, so I am going to start with the page number. Okay, with your notes, you guys always know we have to have our page number in the upper right-hand corner. This is page 42, so make sure that you put that page down. Okay, page 42. Today is Thursday, February 25th. Notice I didn't know the date, so I went back and made sure I checked on the date. Today is February 25th, so I put the date into the other corner. So now you can see I've added the date. All right, so now with this page, we have the date and we have the page number at top, but there's no title. Today, I put the title right in the middle, and I'm going to cover up some of this. I'm going to cover up the bottom so we can focus on just the top here at first. All right, and I want you to start right in the middle, and I want you to write note-taking strategies. This is the title for this page in our notebook. Instead of putting the title at the top, now I'm going to put it in the middle. So I put it right in the middle. This page is all about note-taking strategies. Now, I'm going to draw an arrow up here to this first corner, and I'm going to start here at the 1 o'clock position on the clock, and I'm just going to go around clockwise. So the first note-taking strategy is summaries. We learned about how to write a summary in Unit 2, and we know that a summary includes a main idea and details. Now, this is a piece of literature. So one of the things that we do that's a little bit different when we are doing summaries of literature is we can add in our reflection. All right, the details are going to be what happened in the chapter. The main idea is going to be the overall mood or the big idea of what happened in the chapter. And then the reflection is where you, the reader, gets to share your own opinions or your own thoughts about the events or of what you've read. So one type of note-taking strategy is to simply, after you're done reading, to write a summary. Now that's really hard because you have to have a good memory. And these are long chapters. All right, but this is one of the strategies that you guys could choose. Okay, the next strategy is a very popular one. All right, and you can see I've drawn an arrow from here. And this strategy is lists. Okay, and in your notebook, I want you to draw them just how I have. All right, so I've put a rectangle, and at the top, I write lists. Now, with this note-taking strategy, you would have a main idea or a topic at the top. So the topic might be, let's say, Chapter 1. All right, Chapter 1 is the topic. Or it could be a main idea. We are talking about how Harry's a hero, so it could be how is Harry a hero. That could be the main idea of your list. It could be events in Chapter 1. It's really up to you how you would title that. But again, your teachers are here to help you. So you would start off with a main idea or just a topic. And then you can see there's a numbered list. You could do a bulleted list. We have used lists throughout our note-taking strategies all year as I've given you guys notes. You guys know that I'm a big fan of using bullets, using numbers. When I do lists, one of the things that I like to do is I like to color code a lot of my lists. But this is a very popular form of note-taking, especially for me. This is one that I like a lot. All right, because you guys know that even as we do notes, at the top of every page, we need the title, the date, and the page number, and that's just like our main idea, our topic. Okay, every single page in our notebook starts with a topic, and then if we look through them, you'll see we do lots of bullets. All right, continuing in a clockwise direction, one strategy that a lot of people like is Post-it notes. And that is, again, draw it just like I did. You're going to make a rectangle, like that's your page. Title it Post-its. And then you can see on here, I have little miniature pictures of Post-its. That's what those are. And when we talk about Post-its as a note-taking strategy, we're just talking about Post-its. We've got big size like this. There's smaller size. And this is one where you can be reading, and you just have a little set of notes on you. And when you want to write a question down, or if you want to write a detail down, or thoughts and inferences that you're making, you can just jot them down right on here. You can either put the page number. Some people like to take them and put them right in the book, just like that, and they have them in their book. Other people, like my picture shows, likes to take them and organize them after where they write their notes on the Post-it notes, and then they put them right in their notebook, just like this picture is showing. But Post-it notes is a very good way for taking notes. A lot of adults and a lot of people, they'll in the margins of their books, they'll write in them. And that's kind of what you're doing when you're using sticky notes. Your books, usually you guys can't keep your books. You are borrowing them, so you'll have to return them to me. And so you want to return them in the same kind of condition. So you can't just write in all of the margins of your books. You have to keep them neat. And so that's why Post-it notes, they kind of work like that. Instead of marking up the book, you just mark up your Post-it notes. So again, this is a very popular strategy. It's one that works very well. Okay, continuing, the next one we have here, we have a Venn diagram. Okay, you can see here, I've just drawn a rectangle, labeled this Venn diagram. And you guys know that a Venn diagram is used to really compare and contrast things. And so here I have topic 1, topic 2, and I've just drawn a picture of my Venn diagram. This is a really good way to take notes, especially when you are comparing and contrasting things. In fact, there is one chapter in the book, it's either chapter 3 or chapter 4, where I will be assigning all of us to use this note-taking strategy, because we're going to be comparing a magic house with a non-magic house, and so this kind of note-taking is going to work really well for us for that chapter. Okay, but Venn diagrams, if you are comparing and contrasting two things, this is a great note-taking strategy. All right, I need to go down here to the very bottom of my notebook before we move on. Here, this one that I skipped, you can see I drew an arrow down here. We have timelines. Timelines, I'm not sure if you guys have done those yet in social studies and if you've worked on any timelines, but a timeline is really just what it is. It's a line with events on it. I used this note-taking strategy for one of my chapters that I did. I've already gone ahead and done all of my notes and all of my summaries for all of these chapters. And this is a really good strategy to use when you do have a lot of events happening right after each other. I might not use it in the beginning of a book, but in the middle, when we get into that road of trials and the rising action, when it just seems like events keep happening one after another, timelines can be really a good note-taking strategy. I'll often turn my notebook on its side to make my timeline when I do that. Right here, this is an example of an actual chapter I did. This is my chapter 4, and I did a timeline where I started up here and I went right across, and I've got 4 different events, and then when I ran out of room on one side, I just started it again over here. So this is an example of me using a timeline, and you can see throughout this entire chapter, this was chapter 4, I have 14 different events on this page here. All right, back to our note-taking strategies. All right, so that was timelines. And so now continuing right around as we go through the clock, we have the pink one right here, and this is a Tchart. All right, if you draw this, okay, draw it with a rectangle around it. This is labeled as a Tchart. And with a Tchart, you see we might have a topic on one side and another topic on the other. You could do a Tchart with questions on one side and answers on the other. You could do a Tchart like you'll see up here in the Cornell Notes that I'm going to show you next, where you have one side for details, one side for questions. Really, Tcharts are good whenever you have 2 different topics that you're really trying to jump into. The chapter that we're going to do where we're going to use a Venn diagram, I probably could have just as easily chosen to do a Tchart with the 2 different topics. But, Tcharts are very good whenever, again, you have 2 different things, and you get to really pick what those are. You could pick 2 different characters. You might pick a character like Harry and another character like Draco, or you might pick Ron and Hermione, and you might just choose to put details down about each character. Again, it's a good way to compare things. Okay. The last one that you can see right now is right up here, and it is in blue, and we call these things Cornell Notes. And I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so you guys can see Cornell Notes. All right, so with Cornell Notes, this is like your piece of paper, all right? And you'll see that basically you break up your piece of paper by drawing a big I. So you would draw this line here near the top, this line here kind of near the bottom, and then you would just draw a line down the middle separating it. And you will notice that the line separating it is slightly pushed to the left side. Because the left side, this is a side when you are doing Cornell Notes, this is a place for you to write questions. Now at the top is a key question, and the key question is something that the reader could write themselves, but it's often given to you by the teacher. So I'll often ask the key question of, How is Harry Potter from the Chamber of Secrets, how is he a hero? Or how does he fit the pattern of the hero's journey? Because that's kind of the big thing that I'm trying to do with you, is trying to get you guys to analyze this book to see how Harry fits this pattern that Joseph Campbell talks about. So the key question would often be something like that. And so all of the information in this graphic organizer really is all pertaining to that. So everything that Harry does, the obstacles he faces, his friends, his allies and helpers, all of those notes, anything that's happening in the chapter that you put in your notes, are all going to reinforce the answer to this question of, is Harry a hero? It's either going to prove that he is a hero, or it'll prove that he's not a hero. So with this, we start with the key question, but then on the left-hand side is a space for the reader to write questions, and I'll explain more about that later, but we do have lessons about asking level 1, 2, and 3 questions. This is where you guys would write those kinds of questions. Like if you were Harry, what would you do? Or how would you feel if you were Ron? Okay, or another character in the story. Then the right-hand side, this is for the important info and details. That goes along here. And at the bottom is a spot for you to write your own summary. So what I really like about Cornell Notes is it takes the best parts of my favorite note-taking strategies and it combines them all together. I love lists. Lists is a really good way for me to think about information. So in Cornell Notes, I'm making a list of important events. But I also know the importance of being able to summarize, being able to take a big chunk of pages. Some of these chapters are 25, 30 pages, and being able to take all of those pages and summarize them down into, a one-page summary. So I really like summaries, and they're so important. But I also like being able to ask questions. So that's brought into here when we write our Cornell Notes. We are all going to be doing a set of Cornell Notes for Chapter 1 to get us started. And you can see here, all right, this is kind of what they look like when you see them in your notebook. All right, you'll see at the top of my page, I start with my chapter title, and then I have my essential question. Can you describe the exposition of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets? Okay, refer back to page 18 for exposition. And then on my left-hand side, I've been able to write questions, level 1, 2, and level 3 questions. On the right-hand side, I'm able to write all the important information. And you can see I'm even telling you exactly how many bullets that we're going to need. And then at the bottom, I'm able to write a short summary of the chapter. And again, where do I get this information from? I pull it right out of my own notes. Okay, so this is a good example of Cornell Notes. All right, now going back to our note-taking page. Here we are. So now that I've introduced you to all these note-taking strategies, there's one that's been covered up. And you might have been thinking, what is this one that I have covered up? Well, you'll notice today I didn't start with my notes at the top of the page. So I didn't use the note-taking strategy of a list to do these notes with you, which is probably what I normally would do. Instead, I used a new note-taking strategy with you. And it's one that we learned about in Unit 2. And this is a web. So when you look at my notes, okay, you'll see here as I zoom in once again for you, a web begins with a topic in the middle. And then all of the details are about that one topic. So, a web could be really good if you're trying to describe a character. We could put a character's name in there, Harry. We could put a chapter. We could put chapter 1 in there. And then all of the events could be details that go in chapter 1. And this is really good because it's not straight up and down. It's more unorganized. It's in a way where you could put an idea over here and put a bubble around it. You could put an idea down here. So it can be fun for a person that doesn't always like to think up and down or left and right. Someone who's really more artistic might like this kind of a note-taking strategy. The only negative is that often the events aren't in any kind of an order. So you just have details all around about that one topic. So one of the things that you can do to help you with that is you could also simply number your topics as you write them. So as I'm doing my note-taking strategies here, I could have put a number next to each one of these. All right, so I could very easily just have them numbered, and it's a way to organize the events. So if you were doing events in a chapter, you could draw this part first, and this could be 1, and then you draw this, and this could be 2, and this could be 3, and so you would at least be able to know what order the events came in, even if as you were writing them down, you were just writing them down wherever you felt like. All right, but a web is another really good strategy to use. So going forward, what you need to do for me today is simply upload a picture of this page. Make sure that I can see the entire page. All right. In your picture, you can see right now, you either can see the heading and the top of my page, or you can see the bottom. You can't see both, so I would need to readjust my camera in order to take a good picture. Don't take a picture where I can only see part of your page. I need to be able to see the whole thing so I can give you guys credit. All right, tomorrow we will be actually watching a couple of videos, and we will be doing some final preparation to begin reading Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. So tomorrow I will see you for those, and in the meantime, you guys have a great afternoon, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.